Bismillah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, wallahu akbar. Continuing again with chapter number 21, the prophets. And today Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, within the previous verses, He have provided for us the principles of who is Allah, what He's able to do, why we have to worship Him alone, that He is not a human, that He is able to do everything, that He cannot change from one form to another form, and so on and so forth. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shows us and also put the principles. He talked about the hellfire. He talked about the people who commit partnership with Allah or have partnership with Allah, associate other gods with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and what's going to happen to them. So all this Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set forward before as guidelines, as principles for everybody to understand. Then, as you see in any other book, for example, if you take an economics book, you'll see in the start of the chapter, what are you going to have? Principles. Economics, the Federal Reserve want to increase, want to decrease the interest rate, what they will do. And so on and so forth. And then they'll get you a case study. That case study could be an individual, could be an economy, could be a country, to apply these principles. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, first example we're going to have, extensive example, is Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salatu wassalam. Ibrahim alayhi salam, he was one of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided him as the first example because he's considered the father of the prophets. And all the Christianity, Judaism, Islam, they're all coming from Abraham. That's what they call them, the Abrahamic religions. Why? Because Abraham, he had two sons, Isaac and Ishmael. From Isaac, they came the Israelites, and all the prophets came to the Israelites, plus Isa alayhi salam, plus Jesus. And from Ismail, his other son, come Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided the number one example, Ibrahim, because Ibrahim have demonstrated all kind of steps for any individual. This is not just before God has choose any prophet. When he grow up, when he come out of, when he's just newly born or he's in his youth, he doesn't know he's his prophet. He does his research. He does his work to be able to answer one question. Because everybody have to answer that question. It's not just the prophets. Because all these prophets are humans like us. So what they do, they have the same brain like us. Nothing different. What is the question? Why am I here for? What I'm supposed to do? What is my homework here? How I'm going to pass the test, how I'm going to pass, what's going to happen after I die. And that's what Abraham started to do. What Abraham started to do, investigate what's around him. And that's what just a message for everybody to investigate. Investigate what? Investigate all the books who have came. You investigate the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. And then you'll find a lot of stuff doesn't make sense. A lot of stuff are the portraying of these prophets as sinners. Remember when I'm a CEO of a company, and I go away, I go somewhere, I have to put somebody in my place who has credibility, who has a very good track record, who's able to do all my tasks. He might not be like me, but he's going to be able to do everything. He's a very trustworthy. He's a very honorable. He's very gracious. He's very able to kind, able to treat people in the way I want. Because I don't want to create problems. I don't want to lose my business. And the same thing with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When God, He is, watching, seeing everything. When He sent these prophets on behalf of Him, they have to demonstrate all kind of good good qualities. You cannot, for example, portray. For example, you see in the Bible, you portraying Noah as a drunk man, and so on and so forth. You portray David as somebody who committing adultery, and he trying to plot, some kind of plans to basically have the wife of his neighbor, so on, so forth. So this is a made up things in the Bible. Doesn't make sense. Why? Because they want to tell the people, oh, sin, do whatever you want. Because you see these prophets, they were sinners. So be like them. This is unacceptable, and this is not true. Then you come to Isa, Jesus alayhi salam. He never said, I'm God. He never said, worship me. He never said, I'm son of God. But they made it up. They brought some guy called Paul, and Paul in the Bible, he started to make up. He never saw Jesus. Oh, I saw him in a dream. How many? Everybody can see a dream and make the stories, and oh, I believe this, and then they took that guy's dreams. I mean, and put it in it's supposed to be a holy book, and that doesn't make sense. So all of this, that's why God have. So everybody has to do his research and think where I am standing. Did I investigate everything available? You have to investigate the Quran. You have to really look deep into it and to see if everything makes sense there or no. If not, you have a misunderstanding, because the Quran from the first word until the last word, everything is going harmonious in a harmony, and just is revealing one message, only one God worthy of worship, and Muhammad, he is his last prophet and his last messenger, and that's what the message is. So, and everything, and we said before that miraculous scientific miracles within that book, it's not an imitation, it's not a repetition of what's in the Bible. It's just something on its own. God is challenging the human being. Scientific miracles, we said before, which are proven only over the last 40, 50, 60 years, 100% correct, give this book its authenticity. It's inspiration by God coming down to the human, to the Prophet Muhammad alayhi salam, and from there to everybody who is supposed. So, but right here, as we're going to see and as we're going to proceed, people will be, some of them, like as we're going to see from the story of Abraham, their criteria, when somebody explaining that book, the Quran, to you, to anybody who's not Muslim or somebody who has doubts, you will say, yes, it makes sense. Yes, this is the truth. But after a while, the devil will try to put some kind of doubts in your mind, doubts in your heart. Oh, there probably some here. There probably this guy has an agenda. There probably this guy is, was sent by some kind of whatever. Why not to believe in this book, which is the true and final message. Let's dive into the story of Abraham, and let's understand what happened there, because it's going to give us a lot of insight about how a person should be able to start investigating what's around him, and don't take the words of people or his ancestors, whatever. Oh, I find myself Christian, oh, I have to be Christian. I find myself a Jew, I have to be a Jew. I find myself an atheist, I have to be I find myself an atheist because of my ancestors, I have to be an atheist. I find myself a Hindu because of my ancestors, so I have to be a Hindu. No. You're the one, only you will be responsible for your choices. You're the one who will be responsible. You're not going to say, oh, because of my ancestors. No, it doesn't work that way. When you stand before Allah, before God, the creator of the heaven and earth, you'll be responsible, because God is making sure that you've been exposed to the evidence and the criteria. So, وَلَقَدْ آتَيْنَا إِبْرَاهِيمَ رُشْدَهُ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, we have given Abraham his sound judgment. Wow, sound judgment about what? Abraham, he started, like I said, to anybody. He said, where is the truth? Where is the truth? Where is the right religion? Where is the right God? It started with the Shams, with the sun. This is my God. But he found the sun, it goes to the sunset. It's not, God cannot be something which vanish or go away, even for a second. It has to be consistently existing. Okay, so let me see the moon. Oh, but the moon also is existing, is disappearing. Let me see the stars. The stars also is disappearing. So they cannot be my God. Then he goes again and trying to until he find that, oh, I realize now that there's only God. I cannot see him. I cannot comprehend him. I can see his signs, but I cannot see how he look like, how he's going to be. Imagine somebody who created, he's a physical entity, that physical entity who created the heaven, the moon, the earth, everything around it, the galaxies, the universe. How enormous it will be. How unpredictable. Because you cannot even comprehend it with this small brain we have, the senses we have, because we are a creation. We cannot do beyond the capacity of what Allah have given us. And that is what the story is. So Abraham, God have given him that sound judgment to be able to judge and find and get to the right belief. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala started to give him revelation, but Abraham has started the first steps towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَكُنَّا بِهِ عَالِمٍ. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is telling you within that period where Abraham is investigating, he's looking, he's trying to make sense of what's around him. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, we're watching you. We're watching you. Allah watch each one of us. Allah watch each one of us. And Allah wants guidance and everybody to be guided. Each one of us, Allah is watching every one of us. So He wants you to take the first steps. Once you take the first steps, you read that book, the Quran, you understand, you try to see what is this saying. Allah will give you His hand. He will give you a hand. He will give you a bush. So you become a believer and understand what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. إِذْ قَالَ. So he started with the people around him. He started to challenge, because once Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in this case was Abraham, once Allah subhanahu and any other believer, his job is not just to believe as an individual. No. After you have the belief as an individual, your second is to look at your family. Are they believing? Can I spread the knowledge of Allah, the knowledge of the guidance to them? That's why Abraham, he was like once he got the belief, that belief, remember, is a candle. Each one, he's going to give a flame to each one. So he started to give a flame to his dad. He's trying to talk to his dad about the guidance, about Allah, about the truth. And what happened with Allah, with his dad, is قال لأبيه وقومه ما هذه التماثيل. He said, they're worshiping statues, idols. You went to them and say, what are you worshiping? What are you doing? These are idols. The تماثيل التي أنتم لها عاكفون. Day and night you're worshiping them. Day and night you're in front of a statue which doesn't help you. قالوا وجدنا آباءنا لها عابدين. We have found, again the same statement. A Christian stays as a Christian. A Jew stays as a Jew. A Hindu stays a Hindu. A Buddha stays a Buddha. Because he said, my ancestors, my forefathers, my, so who give you that guarantee? Who would tell you that these people were on the truth? Who will tell you that? Who will have the guarantee that they were correct? You have to do your homework. Nobody's going to come, because you're going to be responsible for your choices. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and you see here on earth, you see, for example, The CEO of Google, Hindu. The CEO of Citibank, CEO of IBM, CEO of Microsoft, Hindu. They're the most smartest, the brightest, the smartest, all of them are geniuses because they're managing multi-billion international companies. Okay, they has to be analytical skills, ability to speak, ability to lead, ability to influence, ability to take decisions, ability to withstand stress. These are the leaders of big companies, but they failing to, because what they have building, the billions dollars, the $1 million they have, all of them are billionaires. What's going to happen? In one instant, we saw that few days back, the Iranian president is gone. His plane vanished. Was he preparing for that? No. He was a president. You know, oh, I have all kind of influence. I'm threatening the US every day. I'm big shot. I have this, I have that. I'm having nuclear weapons, so on and so forth. But he didn't really prepare for that day, that he will be going, that he will be done. So that same thing with these CEOs. They failing to understand they can go anytime. He's done. All his money is going to be transferred to somebody else. It's not even his. But the whole idea is what's going to happen after that. The only book is going to give you 100% truth about what's going to happen to you, to me, to everybody. Is this book. That this life is testing you. So each one of those people, although he's very smart, but really he's failing to grasp the main reason he's here. Yes, you can be multi-millionaire and have all this, and on the same time you're a worshipper to Allah alone. You're following Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam alone. You're believing in the right Islam, the true Islam alone, because this is the truth. But a lot of them, they're failing because of what? The same word. We're following what our forefathers were following, they were worshiping. So we have to continue doing the same mistakes they were doing. You know, and this is the problem. This is a big proof on them, because in their companies, if you see somebody on one of these workers or one of these departments are keep doing the same mistakes, and he kept telling them, don't do these mistakes. Don't do these mistakes. What's going to happen when they keep repeating the mistakes? He'll fire them. It's the same with the same logic. You know, they have to look and see and investigate. For each one of us, investigate and look into the truth. And that is what is قال وجدنا. Right now, everybody would say, we have found our forefather Christian. We have found our forefather Jews. We found our forefather Hindu, whatever, Buddhist, whatever. قال لقد كنتم أنتم وآباؤكم في ضلال مبين. Indeed, you and your forefathers, your ancestors, were in a very, very clear misguidance, in the wrong direction, because you're not worshiping the true God, the King of the heaven and earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قالوا جئتنا بالحق أم أنت من اللاعبين. They're making a mockery out of him. Are you serious? Are you bringing us with the? Are you telling us the truth, or are you playing? You know, like in this kind of situation where you wanna believe somebody, but in the meantime, you don't wanna believe him. Like, somebody's telling you news, something, like your friend so and so, he had a car accident. He said, are you serious, or you're just making a joke? That's basically what they're trying to tell him. قال بل ربكم رب السماوات والأرض الذي فطرهن وأنا على ذلكم من الشاهدين. He said, no. I'm serious. There is a creator for the heavens, for the earth. الذي فطرهن. He started them from scratch. You know, and then as we mentioned in a few ayat before, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He said that the heaven, the earth were like a mass. Like basically like a mass, like a dough. And from there, everything has evolved. And that is what exactly He said. He used the word fatarahunna, as if it was like a paste, a mass, like a dough, where you make cookies, or a dough where you make, you know, a pie. That's what exactly the word from Arabic origin. It's like a dough. Fatarahunna. Fatarahunna means to make the dough, to make the pie. And this is what He's telling them. وَأَنَا عَلَى ذَلِكُمْ مِنَ الشَّاهِدِينَ. And I am from those who are witnessing. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, after that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He gave him His sound judgment. Once Ibrahim did his effort, Allah has provided him with the belief, the complete belief, the full belief. So he said, I am a witness. And that's why my job, so that's what I'm saying. Anybody who's a believer, anybody who knows the truth, anybody who understands that this book is the final message, and the only authentic message exists, he has to convey that message to everybody. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم سائر المسلمين.